from? Where you from, nigga? Where you from? Where you from? Where you from, nigga? Where you from? Where I'm from, man, they love to hate. Where I'm from, they hit the interstate. Where I'm from, man, they keep it real. Murder rate, I can feel it kill. Where you from? Where you from, nigga? Where you from? Where you from? Where you from, nigga? Where you from? Hey man, say man, what's the play, man? Season 2, what it do? Who do we have here today?
It's your girl Ray Too Real from Dallas, Texas.
Yes, ma'am. See the way you say that, you say it so polished, like you're from the radio or something. You know what I'm saying? The way you say it just rolls right off the tongue. You know what I'm saying? But it's super polished. You know what I'm saying? So, what radio station do you work at?
97.9 The Beat.
Yeah.
Or let me rephrase that. 97.9 The Beat.
Yeah. Appreciate you coming through and sitting down with us.
Thank
you know what I'm saying? A lot of people feel like the radio and bloggers have a certain beef or static or something. So I like to show the people that like we all one. You know what I'm saying? Especially like you were just mentioning, like it's for local. So it's local above everything else. Dallas above everything else. Then everything falls after that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when I first came up with this first question, I didn't know it was still applied today. But how have you been affected by the COVID-19?
Well, man, for one, COVID has been hard for everybody. So COVID-19 has just been really difficult for journalists. As you know, we had to go home basically and work permanently from home rather than being in the office. And as you know, like with breaking news and stuff like that, it's much easier when you're with the talents in the studio and able to really talk to them hands-on. So that's definitely been a difficult challenge. We went from a staff of over 75 to probably 10. So a skeleton crew. So that's been my most difficult challenges, feeling like I still have a job to do to deliver the news, but also being impacted emotionally myself, dealing with, personal stuff.
That's real. It actually surprised me to speak to a program coordinator not too long ago. I won't mention what it is, which one it was, and she kind of slid in there, but their radio station was like in bankruptcy or coming out of bankruptcy. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know that everybody was hit by COVID-19, you know what I'm saying? From the top to the bottom, you know what I'm saying? Even in terms of like if people can't advertise, they can't advertise, you know what I'm saying? They don't have money. And that impacts everybody the whole way around. I never kind of looked at it like that, you know what I'm saying?
It's definitely a trickle effect.
Yeah. So like even with you being kind of on the front lines, and even dealing with the people more so than we do as bloggers, we have this phone, like we're with the phone. How has the COVID-19 actually affected you? You said that affecting you emotionally and things like that.
Well, the first biggest thing that I can remember is when the whole George Floyd thing went down, and people started going crazy downtown. My windows got busted out.
Really?
And those are just things that, as journalists, we take the risk trying to cover the story, trying to cover what's going on and give the people the news. But yeah, my windows got busted out of my car downtown when rioters were just, rioting and vandalizing everything. So.
And what was your personal reaction to that? Was it, I understand where you're coming from, or was it of anger?
I mean, I was still mad. Like, y'all, I was pissed, but I knew exactly what it was. I don't have any like beef or enemies with anyone, so I knew it had to be that. And where I was specifically located was by the AT&T Center, so it was a real high traffic area for the rioters. And so at the same time, I was just like, man, we're just at a state where we're mad, we're emotional, and we're angry, and I just had to get it fixed.
So 1 year later, we have the trial of Derek Chauvin. Is that how you pronounce it? I think it's just pronounced murderer in French. You know what I'm saying? Do you think he's gonna be found guilty?
Honestly, I don't want to speak on that.
That's real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I asked the last person that, and I was like, it's crazy how even the ambiguity that we can't just all definitively say yes because of everything that's happened in history where it's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you just crazy. Really never know.
Never know.
I will say that since George Floyd and, all this crazy stuff that's happened in between, from people to rioting, the freaking Capitol, I think that they're getting the message a little bit more now, and that we're not going to take no for an answer. And if it is a no, you know the repercussions. So if y'all want to go there, we can go there. But outside of that, I hope that he is convicted. I do.
Yeah, that's real. So even with you covering the media, something that kind of caught me off guard, because every day we wake up and we're just looking for stuff. And I tell people as a blogger or a journalist, there's never a shortage of news. Mm-hmm. But it surprised me when I seen the insurrection earlier this year. You know what I'm saying? We see people climbing fences, masks, holding podiums. It's kind of like a movie.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So what was your reaction to that, just to even see it in real time? Then even to know, like, for what we do, we actually know the actual historical and cultural impact of like what's going on. Right. So what was your take on that?
My take initially was just like, what the fuck? I was looking at it at the time the news broke. I was getting my oil changed, and I was in there with, like, obviously people that aren't black, and I'm just like, I was just talking shit, like, look at these, look at them, like, y'all worried about us, you know, and look at y'all, like, y'all took it to a whole nother level. And immediately I was just like, I didn't know what the state of the country was going to be after they did something like that. And then so many people were hurt and emotionally scarred by this. And a lot of people from North Texas, from Dallas, were actually there partaking in those
the crazy
activities.
Thing about it is a lot of people like in just had notoriety. Like I'm in West Texas a lot. Like a lot of mayors and different people in the community used to be surprised, but some of us weren't surprised. But we were like, "We told you so."
Yeah, no,
we tried to tell you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So 2020 was just a year of headlines, year of news, nationally and locally. What was your reaction to the death of MO3?
Wow. My reaction was definitely heartbroken. I think it's always sad when we're killing up one another. And actually, to be 100% honest, I was looking at your blog, you know, just to get the other side of things, of what's going on. And I just think it's sad. I still think it's sad how he went out, and I don't think that no matter what, nobody deserves that. But I will say this. I think that Dallas as a whole, we have to come together. And I think Oak Cliff as a whole, like, they're very divided right now. Yeah. So it was definitely a wake-up call for everybody just to know, like, what's really going on. Because some people may know. I personally didn't know exactly what was going on. So it was just more so just like a sad type deal, because I feel like I just ran across him the other day. He was performing at our car show, you know? Yeah. And to see that and see somebody here one day and gone the next is never a good thing. It's never a good feeling. Yeah,
it's hard. And it's crazy. It's like it never stops.
It never stops.
So yeah. I got a tough question for you. You want it?
Yeah.
All right. So what about people that will say, when Nipsey Hussle died, damn, we couldn't escape him on the radio. But when we had, like, I guess, a local celebrity, star, or community, or whoever you are, if you have different people look at it, where was that coverage, at least from the radio? Okay. Or, like, could you even know just the greater rumbling from artists feeling like the radio is not for us?
Well, I actually text his manager, our people text his manager, I would say. I didn't personally text his manager. But I was immediately on the story. And there was definitely coverage on it. There was definitely coverage on air. We had a relationship with MO3. We had a relationship with MO3. We have a relationship with Yellow Beef. We have a relationship with Tri-Boy Freddy. So it's not even from my perspective, I definitely covered it. I don't know what other stations were doing, but from my perspective, I will say that I did cover the story. And we did pay tribute to him, social and on the website and on air. So, yeah.
That's real. And so what would you say to up and coming artists that do feel in general that I guess Dallas radio isn't for Dallas? You know what I'm saying? I used to hear that being an artist, you hear it every now and then. And even like with the 3, it's crazy to hear that sometimes. I literally heard them on the radio yesterday. Mm-hmm. But just like just explaining to them, or it's. I don't think a lot of people understand radio, and I feel like being a blogger, I understand radio more now. You know what I'm saying, than ever. But I feel like a lot of artists just feel like the radio isn't of them or for them. So what would you say to that?
I would say there's plenty of contests, plug my play. There's different contests, raising the bar, P Skills does. And we're definitely open to local artists. Matter of fact, we look for local artists for Car Show. We look for what's hot. Now, if you want the honest opinion of whether your song is ready for the radio and you don't get the responses that you want, that's really on the artist. But you gotta come ready. You can't come with stuff not mixed and mastered. You can't come and ask, how do I get my song on the radio? Do you know how many times we hear that? So it's more so of being ready, and being around, because we're definitely around. We're about to open back up. We got some great things planned for Dallas, definitely. And I'll just leave it there. Like, there's definitely room for local artists. We definitely support local artists. We help Yellow Beezy. We've helped plenty of local artists. And I think that it's maybe not as many as people would like. But the most recent artist that we cut for 100% is OG Bobby Billions. And we broke his song on the radio. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's great to just even see the rise of him, even in other markets, and just seeing growth of that. And even MO3 is on that song.
Right.
So it's great to hear Dallas on Dallas radio.
Right.
So for people that don't know, where are you from?
I'm from Dallas, but I lived in Garland, Texas. And I know y'all know where Garland is.
It's crazy how in Dallas people got to give that distinction, but it's all the greater DFW, you know what I'm saying? So how did you even get to the transition to working in the radio?
Well, I've always been passionate about TV and radio. It really all started off, I interned with 97.9 my freshman year of college. And it's so crazy because my mom called me and was like, 97.9 doing an internship. And I was just like, okay. But she was trying to help me out, get an internship for when I came home, like get a job type thing. And so I applied, and that was when we were back at Valley View Mall. Yeah. And then from there, I just stayed tapped in, made sure that I was in contact. At the time, I still didn't know whether I wanted to do radio or TV. I was in between. But once I graduated in 2016, just started coming back around and wanted to do the street team, which means, we had different events popping up, giving away tickets and stuff like that. And I haven't left since. Yeah. This is like a real family. And everybody there is family outside of radio, with radio. And yeah, that's basically how I got at 97.9 to be.
That's cool. So just speak to you, being a Black woman within journalism, but then also within radio. I heard that's like way tougher than you guys even admit and let on sometimes. I spoke to a Mexican woman, not a Black Mexican woman, but a Mexican person within she was within hip hop, but she worked the radio, and she was just telling me everything she was going through, with it also being male dominated, but then the higher ups are not always the same race that we are, or look at things the same we are. So just the climb, you know what I'm saying?
Well, Radio 1, Urban 1 is Black. We're a Black-owned company. But I definitely get what you're saying as far as like higher-ups and executives having more control over what's going on. And I would just say I personally haven't had just like a super lot of problems. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I have. I have played my role as in being a learner first and always being teachable, and just stayed in my lane. And as long as you stay in your lane and always are teachable, it's really nothing that you cannot not do. You just have to be willing to learn and willing to listen to people that have years and years and years experience in radio. And we're at the point now where the torch is being handed down to do so. So just be ready when that torch is handed down to you to be able to put everything that you've learned over the years from these people that have been in the business for so long, be able to put that into play, and you'll be okay.
Well, and I like that you said that, you know what I'm saying? So let's speak about this torch. Are there any torches being handed off? Are there any at the line, or is there any switch ups, anything going on at the radio that we can be privy to coming on?
So starting tomorrow, we actually have a new lineup on 97.9 The Beat. We have Jazzy Black, who is Dallas owned.
Yes, sir.
She's going to be on middays from 10 to 3. Then we have P Skills,
Yes, sir.
who used to be at night, who will be in the afternoons from 2 to 7, or 3 to 7, I'm sorry. And then we have Hollywood Zay. Hollywood Zay is going to be on at night,
Yes, sir.
holding down at the nighttime. So it's a lot of changes being made, and I'm really excited. And I'm excited for the city because we're about to shake up the city for sure.
Yeah. So what's one of your own personal goals that you have for 2021?
Man, for 2021, I definitely want to just, like what I just mentioned, put everything that I've written down, dreamed of doing, into play. I did say, I did write something specific down, and I said I want to get back in TV. I do a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and although I love behind the scenes, I love being in front of the camera. I love being able to do both.
Yeah.
So in a perfect world, I would be able to do both. But I would say getting back on screen, I guess.
No, I'm glad to be a help of a step
Yes.
back in that direction. You know what I'm saying? I just want to encourage you to keep going. I'm proud of everything I see.
Thank you.
Just keep going. Iron sharpens iron. So just the same way that you said you're watching me, I watch you too. You know what I'm saying? Just to be honest. So when we walked out this room, if somebody popped up in a time machine, you know what I'm saying? Boop boop. From 1947, 2007, or even last year, and then like, all right, give me one piece of information. I got 30 seconds. You know what I'm saying? You on your way too. What would you tell them?
I would tell them to never stop, keep going, and never let somebody tell you what you're capable of.
That's real. You know what I'm saying? So I said that was the last one, but let me get one more, because we do got the radio here. Give one tip to up-and-coming artists out of Dallas. That if you could just give them one tip to go home and put this in the bank, plan it, make it grow, sit on it, sleep on it, do something. Just give them one thing. You know what I'm saying?
I would say do your research and study. If you study and you really do your research, you'll know who you need to talk to, what way you need to approach them, and how you need to move forward.
That's real. So for all the new fans, old fans, haters too, you know, haters always be watching like a motherfucker.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Let's get the social media.
So it's Ray2Real, spelled REA, the number 2, _real. And then you can also follow us at 97.9 The Beat. No, I got to plug that in there. And yeah, that's on all socials.
Yes, ma'am. Great interview. Thank you for sitting down. We'll come back and check in with you.
Thank you.
Already. Appreciate you. Where you from, nigga, where you from? Where you from, nigga, where you from? Where I'm from, man, they love to hate. Where I'm from, they hit the interstate. Where I'm from, man, they keep it real. Murder rate, I can feel it kill. Where you from, nigga, where you from? Where you from, nigga, where you from?